Today. So, all right, so we are live. So, good morning to everyone in the live trading room, if I haven't said good morning already. And good morning to everyone on YouTube tuning in. Give us a like and subscribe to our channel. And let's get right at it. There's some good movers. And I think we were just talking about MVIS, so let's just start off with that one. MVIS has a short float of about 31%. I know Discord gave us data that's a little bit different, says almost 20%, but nonetheless, the Reddit mob is literally behind this stock. So there's a lot of Reddit chatter, and you can see that today it is popping pretty nicely. Over the past couple days, 3 days ago, the stock was trading at $10, and now it's made a 40% move in 3 days. Let's look at it on a daily chart. And there it goes. They reclaimed the 20 MA on the daily, which is 1340. I see really maybe upside resistance on the daily is probably like 1480 to $15 on this one. So this one is definitely going to be in play. If you're not in it already, just be careful chasing it, because these stocks could pull back pretty hard. I would prefer pullback, bottoming tail bar, rip to the upside for this one. It's just gone on a straight vertical right up, so we just have to wait for like a setup, bull flag setup, or maybe a bottoming tail bar go long. You know what I mean? So at the moment, that's what I think for this one. Another stock that's going to be in play for me is American Airlines. They reported earnings today, is gapping up pretty nicely, only 70 cents, 75 cents from yesterday's closing price. But what I really like about American Airlines is the following. The CEO said that they expect corporate travel to return and to start at the beginning of the summer. That's huge, because I could tell you from firsthand experience, during my time at American Express, corporate travel is a huge revenue generator for the airlines. It's the most profitable for the airlines, and if that gets going, and if that is true, the airlines are going to get a sick bounce. You could have a big buying opportunity here for American Airlines and the other airlines as well, just purely based on those types of comments from the CEOs of these airlines. So with that being said, American Airlines right now is setting up pretty nicely. It's holding. I would love to see this consolidation hold before the market opens, and if it rips to the upside, go long. And you could throw your stops at 21.50. You're only risking 25 cents on the play for a potential rip. Let's look at the daily chart here. Actually, you're sitting right at the 8 MA on the daily for American Airlines. If it breaks out of that, we have some nice momentum. You can see $22 and $22.40. Those are like the next two levels that I see on American Airlines. I mean, if there's some serious momentum, maybe even $22.70. So I don't know if we'll hit that, but those are the short-term zones that I see for American Airlines. The $22.70 zone could be a key overhead resistance on it. So I don't know if it'll hit that today, but maybe in the next couple days on a swing. But who knows? American Airlines can go on a rip. We don't know. Sometimes the momentum just kicks in and the buying frenzy just goes on, just some serious momentum. So, but you guys get the point. I really, really like American Airlines for today. Another name that I'm going to keep an eye on, that's going to be on my A-list is, I gave it a nickname. I gave it a skillet, or what did I say? Skittles. I gave it yeah. It's called Skittles, but just for fun, I just call it Skittles. It's a monster today. I mean, it's gapping up almost 3 points. So be very, very cautious on trying to chase this. I know we had this as trade of the day yesterday. We didn't know yesterday, by the time we did trade of the day, why it was rallying. But Taj, I don't know if you noticed or if you saw, Kathy Woods bought like millions of shares yesterday. So that's why this thing went on a run. But we didn't find out until after the market closed, because that's when the ARK funds, they publish the trades that they take. And because of Kathy Woods getting in on skills the way that she did, it's gapping up with that continued momentum. So this thing could go on another run today. On the daily chart, look at that volume. Yesterday did almost 100 million shares, and today it's gapping over the 200 MA, which is the key zone. So if skills pulls back for any reason, we need to see it hold that 1822. That's the 200 MA on the daily. If it holds that and continues the momentum to the upside, then you can see the stock in the next couple of days maybe even hit $20, maybe even 21. It might even hit that today, just because of the momentum that's really behind this one. So I personally won't chase it up here. I would prefer some sort of pullback on it, some consolidation. Show me that it holds, not that this is just going to fade away. And if it does do that, I like it for a run to the upside. Another name that I'm going to have on my A list that I'm going to trade, OCGN. This is a stock. Just pull up 2 days of this. You can see that it's been heavily day traded by the day trading community. And in after hours, it ran up all the way, it ran up $1 to $7.40, and now it's pulling back. So with the way that it's setting up, if OCGN breaks out of $6.70, I'll take some long and I'll throw stops at $6.50, which was yesterday's closing price. So that's only a 20-cent risk. There goes Skillets just ripping out of a bull flag. So can't chase it here. If OCGN breaks below $6.55 and breaks below the pre-market low, which is coincidentally yesterday's closing price, then I will short it. I like this consolidation that it's having here, and it's giving a nice tight zone on to go long or to go short, whether it breaks either support zones or key levels that I've marked up. The other name, I think I mentioned it, Ford, right? I like Ford. If you look at the research that I posted this morning, Deutsche Bank calls it a buy idea, and they named it as a catalyst call. And Ford also got a price target upgrade from Credit Suisse and also from Wolf Research. Wolf Research upgrades it to $15. And look at Ford in pre-market. It's flagging. It's holding super nice. As a matter of fact, I already got in Ford. I am in it. I bought a little bit at $12.04. So I'm pretty much at my break-even point. What's your total risk on this? 25 cents? So if Ford were to just, let's just say, flop and just comes down to yesterday's closing price, then whatever. I'll get out of it for a small loss. But I actually think Ford can go on a nice rip here, especially with those price target upgrades and especially the comments made by Deutsche Bank. So I think Ford can potentially reclaim the 20 MA on the daily. Right now it's sitting on the 8 MA, like exactly on the T. So if it can hold this and push, we could see $12.30, $12.40 on this. So I like it. I like Ford, and I'm already in it in pre-market. So I think I mentioned my top 6. Yeah, I mentioned Ford, Skills, OCGN, American Airlines, MVIS. Oh, and then I've got one more. This is my number 6, TDC. So TDC, look at yesterday's action in after hours. The stock closed at $39.88 and ripped to $58. An absolute monster. Like, I wish I traded this in after hours. I mean, I had closed down my system, so I didn't look. I didn't see the stock until it was at like $52. I was like, all right, well, I'm not chasing this. And it is fading away. The reason why it's gapping up so nicely is because they gave upside guidance on their earnings. So I think this is just pure profit taking because of that massive gap up. So right now it's kind of bear flagging a little bit right here. I had marked up about 30 minutes, 45 minutes ago, the $50 range. I wish it held it because had it held it, that was my short trigger to go short if it broke 50. Right now we're trading at 49.83, so not going to chase it down here. So if TDC goes on a rip, if it could reclaim 51, 52, then we could look to go long, put our stops at $50, risk about $1 to $2 on the trade. But if it just fades away on profit taking, we can look for a short entry on this one. So that's my top 6, and let me pass it on to Taj.
Yeah, so Brett, I'll start with a few of the large cap names that I'll be watching. One of the stocks I'll be keeping a very close eye on today is Microsoft. I was just talking to Alex today right before we started the pre-market analysis that Microsoft is actually setting up not only for intraday breakout, but look at the daily setup. Yeah. Microsoft has just been hovering on the daily MA. You've had a nice consolidation here as the market pulled back. So Microsoft has held this level very, very good, pretty much a range around 256 to 261. So about a 5-point range in the past, let's say, week and a half on the stock. So if Microsoft can break out of that all-time high, 261.48, not only will I day trade it, but I will swing this. I think Microsoft is gearing up for another rip to the upside. And remember, this is a rip into all-time highs. So if the market continues this rally, which it looks like it wants to do considering the bounce that it had, and I'll go over that in just a moment, I think Microsoft is going to be one of the leading stocks in the overall market. So keep an eye on it. I think it's one of the best swing setups currently going on right now, because anytime you can get a stock like Microsoft going into the all-time highs, it can be very, very rewarding. Look at the last time Microsoft ripped in the all-time highs. Was about 3 weeks ago through that 245 level, and it ran up to 261 with no pullback. So just keep that in mind. I'll also be keeping an eye on the overall market. The SPYs are somewhat similar. We know Tuesday was a very ugly day for the SPYs. We covered our puts that day, made our profits. We got out a little sooner than maybe we wanted to, but looking back at it, it was the right play. And look where we're at now. We're right back up near the all-time highs. We are 2 points away from the all-time high after that big sell-off because of yesterday's rally. So looking at what happened yesterday, I'm pretty confident in saying I think we're going to hit an all-time high again very soon. If not today, tomorrow, considering the rally that we just put in yesterday. So as of now, the S&P 500, we're having a nice consolidation here. It's actually bull flagging right up here near its highs. If we break out of 416.15, we could go long. We could throw our stops around 416. If we want to give it a little room, we could throw our stops at 415.75 and see if we can break out. And if the SPYs start to rip, we can really hold this thing to see if it can test that high today. I think when you start having news like American Airlines coming out saying they think or they expect corporate travel to come back in summer, that really goes to show where the overall economy is going. A lot of things are opening back up. Things are getting back to somewhat normal, and I think the market's going to react to that. Right, the overall market, not just the airlines individually. Obviously, they're going to have the biggest. They're going to feel it the most, but the overall market's going to feel it as well. So with that being said, keep an eye on the Regent Cruise Lines. Had a monster day yesterday with some of the upgrades that it received. And today is a day where we could see momentum. I was looking at a lot of charts earlier today, and today's theme I think is just going to be momentum. Whether it's with small caps, large cap stocks, look for the stocks that had strong days yesterday because they're holding very nicely today. And the Regent Cruise Lines is on that list as well. Yesterday, rallied about $2.70, closed right at the high, and we're pretty much opening right at the closing price. Closed at $29.51. We're right around $29.50. So if the Regent Cruise Lines breaks out of this pre-market high at $29.70, we can definitely go long. Throw our stops at $29.40. Looking on the daily chart, there's no resistance until around $30.19. If we do break out above that, 30 close to $32, 31.80 is the upper Bollinger Band. And I think Norwegian Cruise Lines is going to be a winner here over the next few days here. Along with that, another play to keep an eye on for momentum was my best performer today, and that was Neo. Neo, I was originally going to swing it, but since I had bought down here at 37, it rallied up here at $39. I just decided to cover the position. And Neo, what's nice about it is it's pretty much right at the closing price. It's right at the highs again. So what we could do is just go long here if it breaks that pre-market high, 39.12. Look at the risk on this. We could throw our stops literally at $38.90, $39. We're talking a 20-cent risk on Neo out of the gates if this thing can just rip up. So keep an eye on Neo. The daily on this is very, very good. Today's going to be the first day that we're actually holding price above the 20 MA. So I think Neo is gearing up for a big rally here. So I'm going to be watching this one very closely. It's going to be one of the stocks at the very top of my list. And just keep an eye on that break. Another stock I'll be watching is AMC. AMC, I don't think any news came out on it, but it was gapping up. Closed at 978, was trading as high as 1020 with good volume. But the thing I like about AMC, similar to Neo, this is going to be the first time that we possibly see AMC trade above the 20 MA since March 24th. So we're talking a month of the stock just trading under the 20 MA. And I'd really like to set up on AMC. So AMC, I would like to see it reclaim that pre-market high of 1020 before going long. So we could go long at 1020, throw our stops around $10. And if we are able to break out of that level, there's no resistance until $11. Now, one thing to keep in mind with AMC is that $11 is a very strong resistance. It's been rejected off of $11 like 5 times already. So do keep that in mind if you are an AMC as it approaches $11. But I really like the setup, especially if you see some of the Reddit community getting involved in short squeeze stocks. That seems to be happening now with NDIS. SKLZ, I know Kathy Woods bought it, but it did have a pretty high short float as well. So you can see a lot of these stocks really start to catch some momentum as well. And then another name, this will be the last name that I go over, is WBT. So WBT was another stock yesterday that had an insane day. Look at the volume that it put in, 108 million. If you look at the other days, the stock every now and then will crack 1 million shares. Usually it's a little less than 1 million. Yesterday it put in 108 million, and the volume hasn't died down too much. It's pretty active here during the pre-market session. And it closed right near its highs. I actually think it closed right at its highs. Yeah, 2 cents away from the highs. 22.58. We are pulling back a bit, but it is technically still gapping up. It's at 22.60. But with WBT, I would like to see it reclaim $23. If it does, we can play it long and throw our stops around 22.50, 22.40. I don't believe WBT has options contracts. Let me double check. Oh, they do. They do their monthly, so keep in mind it may be a little spready on the bid and ask. So you may want to just trade this with equity if you do decide to trade it. But WBT was the stock yesterday, had a monster day. We called it long here around $19 and some change, and it ran up to $23.70. So this stock can run. So keep an eye on it. Like I said, if it breaks 23, we can play it. We can play it to the upside. I know a lot of us had a really good day yesterday. So just be careful coming into the next day. You know, that's something we constantly have to, preach not only to you guys, but to ourselves as well. Is that, a lot of times your biggest day, some of you may have had your biggest day yesterday, could be followed by a big loss. So just keep in mind, keep it simple, stick to the basics, look for your setups, don't chase stocks, and let's get some green on the board, right? And if it ends up being a home run, then by all means, we'll take that. But the important thing to remember is don't try and force another home run day if it's not naturally happening.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. So good reminder for all of us. So we've got less than 4 minutes before the market opens. So for everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you all later with the trade of the day.